Happening now, the case against the Silver Creek man accused of sexually assaulting and raping several children in Chautauqua County is coming to a close. We have the latest from the courtroom. And with below zero wind chills on the horizon, we are talking with those at Jamestown's only soup kitchen on what they need to keep everyone fed and warm. Plus, Dunkirk Dave came out for Groundhog Day. We find out his winter weather prediction for 2023.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Bronson Rasmussen in for Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, the criminal trial raping and sexually assaulting children is coming to a close after closing arguments were made in the case this morning. Our Justin Gould joins us live from Chautauqua County Courthouse in Mayville with more on this stomach-churning case. Justin?
The details presented over this weeks-long trial are absolutely heartbreaking, as we heard from law enforcement and victims alike. This morning, the prosecution and defense, they laid out their closing arguments before a jury ultimately deliberates, deciding the fate of Dustin Post. The 24-year-old faces several felonies surrounding the alleged sexual assault and rape of children. Throughout the course of the trial, we heard from his victims, including an 11-year-old who testified to Post's alleged acts, specifically that the Silver Creek man, during his sister's birthday party, took the then 6-year-old up to his bedroom, blindfolding her for a game where he sexually abused her. The youth testified that Post showed her video he captured of this act. Once that party concluded, Post took the girl home only after making one more stop to a local hiking trail where the abuse allegedly occurred again. She was once one of only a handful of innocent young victims which came forward during this case. The jury's task ahead to decide his fate, ultimately following this emotionally charged trial. Now, Post's attorney today, Chautauqua County Public Defender Ned Barone, he asked the jury during his closing arguments just an hour ago if they're able to separate emotion from fact, outlining gruesome details of evidence and testimony, he argues, which doesn't go beyond a reasonable doubt. Barone highlighted the role of the 6-year-old mother who barely knew him. She let her child go with him to the party. The mother testified in court last week she didn't even know where in Silver Creek the daughter was at the time of the gathering. Now, prosecutors, meanwhile, they're doubling down on the amount of evidence laid out over the course of the trial. Right now, they're wrapping up their closing arguments. While alone, each is just a piece of the puzzle. DA Jason Schmidt says from interviews with police recorded and recordings of these sexual assaults, they all come to achieve the burden of proof. Now, specifically, just moments ago, Schmidt highlighted an interview with New York State Police in Fredonia, where Post admitted on tape and handed over videos of these horrible sexual assaults. Schmidt outlining what he believes is Post admitting to the crimes, telling New York State Police investigators that they rather listened and respected rather than leading him on in the admission, which were entered into evidence as part of this trial. Now, just in the last minute here, DA Jason Schmidt pulled out a easel and began to specifically outline various charges, connecting them to each victim to try to break it down for the jury, albeit objection from Post's attorney Ned Barone. We're, of course, continuing to follow this trial as it develops, and we presume we'll head into jury deliberations into the afternoon. It's still unknown how long deliberations might take. They could wrap up later today, continue in tomorrow, or even into next week. When we do get that breaking news about the verdict, guilty or not guilty, and what the stipulations are for each charge, we'll of course continue to update you. But for now, reporting live in Mayville, I'm Justin Gould, WNY News Now.
Justin, thank you. We will continue to follow this story and provide updates when available online at WNYNewsNow.com. This week's bitter winter cold is having a big impact on the needy of Jamestown, increasing demand for the city's only soup kitchen. As temperatures drop, more people stop in for a meal and a warm place to eat it. Our Julia Gress reports.
We're seeing an increase of folks coming into the center to have lunch with us, and we're seeing an increase of about an average of 20 a day. So there is a few more extra folks that are coming in.
folks from all different situations utilize the St. Susan Center, not just for a good meal.
We are a warming center for Jamestown, and we are opened from 11 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon, and we do allow our folks to stay if they need to keep warm.
With extreme wind chill forecasted for Friday, an influx is expected. The center offers meat, vegetables, salad, fruit, soup, and unlimited water and coffee 6 days a week. The Mental Health Association operates a 10-bed emergency homeless shelter in the same building as St. Susan's. Those who are in need of a bed can contact the association to see if there is space available and to get access to other services.
For the month of January, we served 3,480 folks, and the food is a major part of what supported us from the holiday haul. Any donations that you make to St. Susan's is used for the folks that utilize our services. Donations also help us keep the lights on, and I do have a small staff, but I also have 100 volunteers that helps us out every day.
Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
Those interested in helping the Soup Kitchen to continue their mission can make donations in person at the center or online at stsusancenter.org. Today is Groundhog Day, and Dunkirk Dave has a few things to say about the winter season in Chautauqua County. Now dozens have lined up to watch as beloved groundhog Dunkirk Dave braved the weather to predict how long the season will last. According to tradition, if a groundhog sees their shadow, there will be 6 more weeks of winter. If not, spring will come early this year. On a cold Thursday morning, Dave emerged from his home to enjoy some fresh pumpkin pie from Portage Pie in Westfield and did not see his shadow. Of the dozens that turned out to greet Dunkirk Dave, it also included 2 Jamestown teens.
The other day we saw that Phil, who's in Pennsylvania, and we were going to head out there, but it was going to be so packed, and then we realized there's a local groundhog that we could come out and see.
We were actually skipping school for this.
Now Dunkirk Dave has been predicting the weather for close to 50 years. This was the first year since the pandemic, though, that the public was invited. And speaking of an early spring, our chief weather forecaster, Andrew Stevenson joins us at a look of the winter weather headed our way. And Andrew, please tell me that Dunkirk Dave was right about this winter weather.
Well, it might be cold tomorrow, but I got some good news coming up in the 7-day forecast in a little bit. Right now over Chautauqua Lake, we got almost mainly blue clear skies out there over a mainly frozen Chautauqua Lake. So if you like the sunshine, get outside and enjoy the sunshine today because it goes away tomorrow along with the cold temperatures. Wind chill advisories have been issued by the National Weather Service. That's in effect for all of western New York and northwestern Pennsylvania. That will go into effect at 4 o'clock Friday morning and last until 10 o'clock Saturday morning. Wind chills will be found -10 to -20 below zero through the day tomorrow and into early Saturday, so you really need to bundle up tomorrow. The high yesterday was 21 degrees, the low was 12 degrees. The record high for today is 59, set back in 2002, and the record low of -23, set back in 1961. For the rest of the afternoon out there, partly mostly sunny skies. Clouds will be on the increase late this afternoon now ahead of that cold front that's going to drop through the region later this evening. Temperature today will be in the low to mid-30s. I'll let you know how cold it's going to get and that warm weather that's going to return next week coming up in the full forecast details.
All right, Andrew, we'll see you then. As WNY News Now continues, what those in Chautauqua County are doing to prepare for a big fishing tournament this spring. And later, we hear from the New York Capitol as Governor Hochul has announced her executive budget. Stay with us as WNY News Now. We'll be right back.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Looking for a fair and honest auto mechanic? Look no further than DeWyas Auto Service. Located at 140 Main Street in Randolph, our family-owned business is ready for all of your automotive needs. From general service to more complex repairs, count on DeWyas Auto to keep you on the road. We not only keep your cars running smoothly, but also looking great with our expert detailing crew. Send us a message on Facebook or call us today at 716-358-2292 to set up an appointment. DeWyas Auto Service. Fair, honest, and the best prices guaranteed.
So you think you can cook? We're looking for chefs ready to test their skills, competing in a charity cooking show competition that features a platter of unusual ingredients, including popular local cuisine. Judged by a panel of local celebs, chefs are tested in 3 rounds before a winner is crowned. So you think you can cook? Register online at stsusancenter.org. Produced by Channel 716. All proceeds raised to benefit the St. Susan Center in Jamestown, New York.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Planning is underway for this year's annual walleye tournament in northern Chautauqua County. The WNY Walleye Classic, which was first held in 2021, will return to the town of Westfield this spring with thousands of dollars on the line. At a town board meeting on Wednesday night, organizers shared ideas for this year's venue with elected leaders and members of the community. Frewsburg-based Primitive Patriot Outdoors will again be hosting the event at the Barcelona Harbor as part of the summer's Lake Erie Walleye Series during the first weekend in the month of June. Along with the fishing tournament, organizers are hoping to incorporate more activities as well that will attract a larger audience to the area. At Wednesday's meeting, Primitive Patriot Outdoors owner Josh Larson stressed the need to show the nation what Westfield and all of Chautauqua County has to offer.
You want to basically showcase what Westfield and the local area has to offer. I mean, the big thing here is grapes and wine, and walleye on Lake Erie. It's not showcased enough in this area. But if you go to Ohio, walleye's huge down there. They have walleye fests, and nothing's really capitalized on that here in New York State.
Organizers are still in the early stages of planning the event, and involvement from members of the community is encouraged. New York Governor Kathy Hochul has laid out her state executive budget to the legislature. Our New York Capitol correspondent Elise Klein breaks down her proposals and talks to lawmakers about what happens next.
It's a thoughtful plan that furthers our progressive values and our priorities as New Yorkers, but also ensures fiscal responsibility.
Governor Kathy Hochul's proposed executive budget for the upcoming fiscal year comes in at $227 billion. The total budget is broken down into 5 categories, including state operating funds, school aid, Medicaid, executive agencies, and other. The new budget comes in $2.5 billion, or 2% higher from the current one. Assemblymember Phil Palmisano says the total budget could push New York into further debt. He highlights a recent report from the state's comptroller, Thomas DiNapoli, that revealed New York's debt could increase 42% in the next 5 years.
You take that record high debt plus the increased spending, that is a recipe for disaster for our quality of life and for our businesses and families that want to stay and live here.
Now that Governor Hochul has officially delivered her budget to the legislature, lawmakers now start the process of budget hearings, where they will debate and outline where they feel the fiscal priorities should be. Palmisano says he looks forward to the process. Assembly Speaker Carl Heastie says he is confident in the legislature's relationship with the governor to work through the details.
Some things we're going to be, very closely aligned on, and some things there's just a, difference of opinion.
In Albany, Elise Klein, WNY News Now.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is urging healthcare providers and consumers to stop using Arzicare artificial tear eye drops. The CDC is investigating at least 50 infections in 11 states that have led to instances of permanent vision loss, hospitalization, and even one death. The agency says most of the people with these infections reported using the artificial tears and was the most common brand. Because the eye drops are preservative-free, they don't have ingredients to prevent bacterial growth. The CDC says people should stop using this artificial tears while their investigation continues. While the Pennsylvania state capitol is celebrating the advancement of a Pennsylvania NFL team to this year's Super Bowl. PA Governor Josh Shapiro helped light the west side of the state capitol green following the Philadelphia Eagles' victory Sunday night over the San Francisco 49ers. The interior of the main capitol is also green to celebrate the NFC champions. The capitol will remain lit in Eagles green until the big game on Sunday, February 12th. Shapiro, who is from Montgomery County, just outside of Philly, is an Eagles fan and is very excited to cheer on his team.
Birds Nation, this is big right now. This is huge. I got a little something for you to celebrate the win and to get ready for the Super Bowl.
The Eagles face off against the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl 57 on Sunday, February 12th at 6:30 p.m. Next on WNY News Now, we hear from Washington, D.C. as officials discuss the potential millions of dollars in fraudulent COVID relief funds. And later, a famous football player has announced his retirement once again. The details coming up. But first, we return with a full look at our full weather forecast.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
So you think you can cook? We're looking for chefs ready to test their skills, competing in a charity cooking show competition that features a platter of unusual ingredients, including popular local cuisine. Judged by a panel of local celebs, chefs are tested in 3 rounds before a winner is crowned. So you think you can cook? Register online at stsusancenter.org. Produced by Channel 716. All proceeds raised benefit the St. Susan Center in Jamestown, New York.
WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
There are 2 silver linings here. One, that no injuries were reported, and 2, they were able to contain the fire from spreading further.
Western New York has a new congressional member representing them.
One of the things that made Betty White so unique was the fact that she connected generations of fans throughout the decades. Take a look at the display here.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Events Weather.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. Currently in downtown Jamestown, we have mostly sunny skies out there. Current temperature 24 degrees with a south wind of 12 miles per hour, and it feels like 13 degrees out there with the wind chill. Here's what's happening across the northeast right now. High pressure is maintaining dry weather across the region, but that's going to change this evening as there's that cold front, the Arctic cold front up across Canada. That's going to drop through the region tonight, bringing with it some snow showers and some very cold temperatures. Here's a look where the wind chills will be at 7 o'clock tomorrow tomorrow morning, anywhere from -10, -15 degrees below zero, and it's going to stay there throughout the day tomorrow and into early Saturday. So if you're going to be outside tomorrow, make sure you bundle up because it's going to be cold, and any exposed skin in under 30 minutes can become frostbite very quickly. So bundle up tomorrow. For the rest of the afternoon out there, partly to mostly sunny skies. I'll stop at around 7 o'clock because that's when that Arctic cold front will begin to drop through the region from north to south, starting across the Buffalo area, and it will reach the southern tier between 8 and 11 p.m. And as it crosses, it will bring some moderate to heavy snow. Some whiteout conditions are possible. So then that can might drop down a couple inches as it crosses. As we head into tomorrow, mainly cloudy skies tomorrow with a few lake effect snow showers throughout the day. The bigger story tomorrow will be the colder temperatures, with temperatures in the single digits and wind chills -10 to -20. We might get a couple inches out of that for lake effect snow for tomorrow. Then as we head into Saturday, high pressure will build in, and that's going to stop the lake effect snow. So the snowfall totals through Saturday morning, as I said, that front's going to bring about 1 to 3 inches of snow, and then lake effect snow will set up across the Chautauqua Ridge and the highest hilltops that might put down a couple more inches. So we're looking at 3 to 4 inches across the Chautauqua Ridge and 1 to 3 inches elsewhere. And now the next 7 days brought to you by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. We're not going to make it out of single digits tomorrow. It's going to be cold, but we quickly rebound headed into Saturday with temperatures in the lower 20s. A couple chances for rain showers on Sunday. We make it to the mid to upper 30s. And then as we head into next week, we're having a heat wave on Tuesday with temperatures in the mid 40s.
So you're telling me, Andrew, that Dunkirk Dave might have been right then?
I don't know what's going to happen beyond next Wednesday. It could become very cold again, but it looks like it's going to stay warm heading into next week.
Well, at least that's good to hear. We'll grab you some headlines from around the nation. The Federal Reserve gave Wall Street reason to cheer Wednesday. The central bank announced that it will rise interest rates 0.25%. That's a fraction of the massive 0.75% raises it's had implemented in recent months. The Fed pointed to recent data on wage growth and falling prices on consumer goods and energy as reasons for the reduced hike. However, officials noted that inflation is still elevated. The central bank is warning that future rate hikes will likely be necessary to cool inflation further down the road. Still, though, this new hike is the smallest since March, and investors are likely to see it as a positive sign. While government officials and lawmakers say billions of COVID-19 relief dollars were lost to fraud, abuse, and some say mismanagement, that was the focus of the House's Oversight Committee's first full hearing. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp reports.
We owe it to the American people to get to the bottom of the greatest theft of American taxpayer dollars.
In the first House oversight hearing, members on both sides of the aisle took swipes at each other. Republicans, who are now in the majority, blamed the other side for a lack of oversight on this issue. Democrats argue when they were in the majority, they've had several hearings on fraud and abuse of COVID funding. Once they stopped taking jabs, federal officials say fraudsters took advantage and stole billions from COVID relief payment programs the government created in response to the pandemic.
Criminals were prepared to exploit the pandemic, in part because for years they were selling identities stolen from past data breaches. They were also fabricating identities using personal and financial data of real people combined with false information. Our investigations also reveal that criminals use shell companies and false employment information.
Officials say most of the money that was fraudulently collected could have been saved if there were more screenings as to who and where that money was going to.
How many people do we know received money from the federal government that were on the do not pay list?
I don't know across all programs. What I do know is from the SBA's PPP program, because almost $400 billion went out in 2 weeks in that program. Of that amount, 57,000, 3.6 billion shouldn't have gone out right away. Not saying every one of those would have been denied, but at a minimum, there should have been secondary screening.
Overall, officials say some hard lessons were learned, and they are still working to recuperate the billions of dollars they believe were fraudulently taken from COVID relief programs. At the Capitol, Rachel Knapp reporting.
Rachel, thank you. Well, it's official. Legendary quarterback Tom Brady says he is retiring after 23 seasons in the NFL. The 7-time Super Bowl champion posted a 53-second video on social media Wednesday announcing the news. Brady thanked his family, friends, teammates, and competitors. The 45-year-old initially retired in February of last year, but that discussion didn't last long and returned for one more season as quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brady played a total of 3 years with them, leading the team to a Super Bowl victory in 2021. He previously spent 20 years with the New England Patriots, leading them to 6 championships. Well, next, when was the last time you read a book? Well, a new initiative at the Jamestown Prendergast Library is encouraging everyone to pick up and read.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Right here, baby. Look. Oma.
No. Something more than a birthday is happening here. Once you can see it, you can help. The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
Have you ever wanted to live out your dreams? Hunt, fish, in all corners of the earth? Well, now's your chance. Follow Primitive Patriot Outdoors as we live out our dreams and show you how to live out yours through outdoor adventures. From Western New York to Africa to all corners of the earth, follow us on this adventure. It's an experience you've never seen before. Lead and Lures, Roku TV, channel 716.
So you think you can cook? We're looking for chefs ready to test their skills, competing in a charity cooking show competition that features a platter of unusual ingredients, including popular local cuisine. Judged by a panel of local celebs, chefs are tested in 3 rounds before a winner is crowned. So you think you can cook? Register online at stsusancenter.org. Produced by Channel 716, all proceeds raised to benefit the St. Susan Center in Jamestown, New York.
The Jamestown Prendergast Library continues its commitment to encouraging Jamestown residents to read. In fact, they are launching a new adult book club that comes with a twist. Our Kelly Ackerman reports.
At the beginning of the year, a lot of people have New Year's resolutions to read more. And I think for a lot of people, especially if you haven't been reading a lot lately, it can feel hard to get back into it. Or sometimes you just want a little bit more community. And so doing a book club is something that can help with that, and I think can really engage people more.
This concept is a new pairing for the library, combining books and brews.
We decided to do it at Brazil, partially just because we thought it would be fun. We thought it would be great. It's a little bit more of a relaxed environment. It's an environment that, you know, a lot of people have gone there, a lot of people are comfortable with the space. And so we wanted to just kind of make it feel like a comfortable social event that also encouraged reading.
Brazil Craft Beer and Wine Lounge will host its first ever Books and Brews book club on Wednesday, February 8th.
We could all use somebody new in our lives. It's nice to meet new people. It can be a little daunting, but if you have something like a book that is just set, you need to talk about this during this time, you know, there's no other expectations, just for you to kind of give your opinion, what you thought about the book, and then see what other people think, and from there, maybe you have the same opinion on the book, maybe you're differing a little bit, but that's a conversation starter.
Brazil will have their full evening menu available, including coffee, wine, and of course, beer. Kelly Ackerman, WNY News Now.
Well, that's it for us today. News continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com and on our mobile app. Download it for free today in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. We'll leave you this live look over our downtown studio, and it's nice and sunny out there. Enjoy at least a little bit of warmth while you can. We'll see you next time.